What up, people of the world? Welcome back to Knell of St. Godhrkar. We are just going to dive straight into this. I've been really excited, looking forward to playing it. We've only got 66% on day 5 and 56% on day 6. So only about halfway through the 2 days. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days to go as well. Now I think at the moment they've only translated days 5 and 6 into English. So we're only going to be able to play the first couple of days, which is sad because I'm really enjoying this game and I want to know how the story progresses. But we're just going to have to wait until they bring an English translation out for the rest of the days and hope that they do it soon. We're on day 6. We're about halfway through day 6 as far as I remember. And there's one more chapter we have to catch up with that I recorded initially before realizing that the stream hadn't actually recorded it properly, that we need to get through before moving on to new content, which I believe is this one. Yeah, Aerith visits Truth Seeker. I have read this one. And then we've got these 3 chapters as well afterwards. Let's just dive in, shall we? Knock, knock. Aerith takes a step back from the door. The name of Verena Wyatt is on the door's mailbox hole. However, she is more famous under another name. Truth Seeker. Most journalists don't like fancy pen names. Their reports focus on local news. They know the southern part of Thalizak, a land of alcohol, prostitutes, and accidents like the backs of their hands. Nevertheless, compared with the series of shocking and bizarre cases in Illy City, Thalizak rarely has a shocking public crime, and the Truth Seeker, ahead of others, locates the only clue related to the city in that case. The door slides open.
Miller?
Oh, hello.
How shall I?
Good afternoon, Miss Wyatt. Verena makes a strange face and jerks her head to the side. It looks like it might fall off her neck.
Godhrkar?
Looks like it's really for me. What can I do for you?
We are steer.
I'd like to talk to you about the new article you published this morning. Has the Votru forsaken its flock? She grins, a polite and distant smile, while Verena raises her eyebrows.
Oh?
Oh, you know I'm... Well, anyway, come on in. Aerith closes the door behind her as she steps inside, surprised at the bland nature of the room. One would expect a little more eccentricity to the layout of her living space, considering her very feminine demeanor.
Godhrkar?
Coffee or wine?
Say.
Just some water, please. Verena puts both hands on her hips and laughs with her chest puffed out. Believe me, my dear, I have something you will like better. Verena winks and turns. She opens a pantry where there is flour and cookies, but nestled further in is a wine bottle. She grabs it and pours too much into the glass, nearly over the brim. For people who are unaware of social cues, this can have an enchantingly disarming effect. Aerith takes the drink and sets it down with care before she sits. Verena looks up briefly and flashes a smile.
Godhrkar?
So, what are your intentions? You've got to put on the brakes when it comes to Turnakeshtazai. Verena leans back in her chair and stares at Aerith blankly.
Eh?
What do you mean? As Aerith looks at Verena, their eyes meet. Behind the blank expression, she finds hypocrisy. You know what I'm trying to say. The wandering priest case is a hassle for the church, and fueling the fire might bring some unwanted attention.
Huh?
So you're saying my article is inappropriate?
Z.
It's how you phrase things. Aerith pulls a piece of paper from her coat with some words scribbled on it.
We are steer.
I quote, the horrific desecration of the accused priest's victim cannot be condemned enough. His lack of action in making this right by being transparent and describing what really happened is unsettling to say the least. Of course, we want to believe the priest's innocence, but why didn't he try to prove it harder? This is needlessly harsh on him. Most people charged with murder don't give out statements left and right in Illy City, you know. He's a priest, an esteemed believer in West Illyry. See, now it's an L. Before it was an I. It's changed to an L. They need to make up their damn mind because it's confusing the hell out of me. He's an esteemed believer in West Illyry. He is trusted with their confessions. It's a slap in the face for the people to be told that they can trust the church fully when things like this happen, but the priest won't say anything about it. Aerith doesn't take any notice of Verina's argument. She just skips to the next paragraph, not wasting any more time to explain. She tilts her head and examines the paper again. Verina doesn't respond.
Sigh.
So you go on about Turner's backstory and make a good account of his participation in the war and how he converted to West Erie. See, again, there's the I instead of an L.
Series.
Do you know who's converted Turner into a wandering priest?
There.
Yeah, Guile, Bishop Guile. It says so on the paper.
Crixtis.
He's still a bishop, you know.
Sigh.
Of course I know that.
My austere.
This is what's written. Or his conversation was likely an empty gesture. It lacked the proper ceremonies, especially for the status of a wandering priest. His conversion, his conversation. Or his conversion was like an empty gesture.
Crixtis.
And Bishop Guile never lists Turner with other priests in his praises. Neither in text nor orally. It's no joke to become a wandering priest. It's something to be admired, but Keshtazai's status came in the blink of an eye.
Sigh.
Again, going back to his refusal to speak out the truth and his insistence in non-compliance. It directly contradicts his status as a priest, subsequently putting Bishop Guile in the limelight as a highly dubious character. Aerith takes a short pause.
Z.
In conclusion, most of the evidence leans towards a guilty verdict, and I hope that if he's innocent, Turner says something about it, or at least the church will. This is more than just scandalous. Prodding where nobody wants to, that's what the news is for. Nothing this vicious ever happened in this after the Civil War. Maybe there's time for some rethinking while it's still peaceful.
Sigh.
Besides, it says nothing definitive.
Feel.
You've got more to lose than win on this one. Does it matter? As long as readers love it, it's good enough for me. Besides, it took me a while to find out so much. But the people at the office loved my piece. They took it in immediately. This selfless, always in pursuit of truth journalist's eyes are gleaming. Her humble abode indicates an equally humble heritage. No family reputation to tarnish. Nevertheless, it's not her status that's the problem. It's the fact that she's off track by a large margin. Aerith puts down her glass. Her disguise of kindness and gentleness fades. When she raises her eyes, she looks like a cold corpse coming back from death. The smell of callousness blossoms on her like a frost marigold. Is it really worth it? Writing all this cheap gossip just for your rental apartment and crappy wine? You are selling your future and career, Mrs. Wyatt. Neither of us want to see you lose your job and home because of this story.
Sure.
Is that a threat?
Star.
I just feel sorry for you. I've been giving you a chance to come back, but it doesn't seem like you appreciate it. Verina stares at Aerith closely, frowning. The arrogant smile has disappeared.
Huh?
Who do you think you are? How dare you insult me like this? Yeah, she's got a point. Who the hell do you think you are? You're just some random woman who works for the post office sending telegraphs and telegrams, and you decided just to show up at her house, tell her she's wrong, and insult her about her writing. If I was this Verina chick, I'd just be like, get the hell out! Who the hell do you think you are? Aerith takes the glass in silence and drinks. She is right. The bad wine, like poison, claws at her throat, the unpleasantness making her more eager to end the meaningless conversation.
Visteriodigus.
Please don't misinterpret. I just came to inform you in good faith to not follow this case any further. It's not good for anyone.
Huh?
Who sent you here?
My austere.
It doesn't matter. Relax, it's just you and me here, and I'm not your enemy, Miss Wyatt. As a friend, I'm just worried about the safety of your precious life. You're bluffing. Redness climbs Verena's face, and Aerith is sure that it's not from the alcohol. The journalist is putting on a superficial air of calm. I've never lied to you, Miss Wyatt, but pretty soon everyone's going to know who the lying reporter is behind the pen name. There's no need to say anything else. Aerith gets up, ready to leave the room. As she turns to the door, an eager reply chases after her. Wait, maybe I was just overly excited when I wrote it. She lifts her head and laughs awkwardly. I apologize for my mistake.
Crixus.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Aerith walks to the door. As she looks back, Verena forces a smile and waves her hand. I won't visit again as long as there are no follow-up reports in the papers. You're a clever girl. I'm sure you'll do the right thing. As the door closes, Aerith sees the horror and hatred that has taken hold of Verena's face. Doesn't matter, she thinks. The purpose has been achieved, so no need to stay. While walking down the stairs, a young man brushes past her. If Aerith's mind was not clouded with the next affair, she might have noticed the intriguing touch of boyish confidence in his gaze. The members of Verethesis Order are not all materialistic. Many of them also believe in science or West Lyrie. Today, the conflict between theology and science is no longer accompanied by bloodshed. The sacred hall of Academy is open as heaven, willing to accept all those who are devoted to truth itself. No matter what they do or what their research subject may be, the Order is open for applications. Even West Lyrie Church extends its hand to them. The belief in a higher power and the pursuit of truth go hand in hand because they are actively encouraged in Holy Canon, a codex bestowed upon the people from Vautru. As the heart of West Lyre Church, Thalizak often hosts singing and church activities. Even so, the priests are very devoted in academic research. Aerith lets out a sigh as her pace quickens. Working downtown means more accessible traffic, so she doesn't need to get across those back alleys, but the avenues can be long enough. It takes her nearly 30 minutes to reach the familiar block. Eventually, the marble columns that support the gates of the Verethesis Order show themselves before her. To her, the sight of them is as familiar as her childhood home. Every corner is tagged with a memory of idiosyncratic importance. Glimpses of her past, from a little girl to a grown woman, flash before her as she remembers walking to and from the Marble Arch. Everything is as it always has been, except for the people in it. She pulls herself from the memories. There's no time for her to grieve over the past. It's been nearly a week since the last time she was here. Verethesis Order is going to be a tough one. She has responsibilities on her shoulders. Tomorrow night she's to report to the Chief Sealt in the hall and give the current state of the Order affairs in the meeting. Dr. Kapler arranged it for her. She is held accountable for the absence of her boss. All the plans about rescuing Turner Keshtazai must be reported elaborately to Chief Sealt. Before that, she needs to be a good liaison.
Sure.
Aerith.
Huh?
The voice comes from her right, where a young man stands. It's someone she knows well, Shehut. Aerith couldn't resist smiling. Shehut always looks like that. The confidence he exudes during experiments and peer reviews meetings is utterly undone by the introduction of the female element.
Ashalai.
Good afternoon. What brings you here?
Kearsley train.
I just happened to be passing by. What a coincidence. I thought I would give you this. Fresh red blossoms sway in the sun, making her feel like she's in a garden of roses during summertime. The flowers are blooming in fragrance and passion. He swings his arm around and reveals a dazzling collection of flora. Nestled inside is a little card with the words to Arif. The rose, well, I saw it today at the market. It's a rare species and I bought a few others too. She notices him shy away from eye contact.
Kirkasa.
I thought you might like them. Arif smiles. It's always a coincidence with him. It's not an easy to buy flower, but if she puts the flowers in a vase, they will certainly bring a lot of beauty to her office.
Artiblotzi.
Thank you, what a beautiful and precious present. I can put them on the table, but I guess that's a bit of a waste.
Oh.
No, not at all. I just hope it can bring you happy... well, I mean, make you happier. Arif looks down at the roses. She does not care about his slip of the tongue. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Sure.
Actually, she looks up at him. He must have something important to say, because he is now looking at Arif gently, even more than he did with anything else.
Gooch.
I was thinking we could do something tomorrow. I didn't get you flowers because of that. I mean, sorry. Arif is amused by his excessive explanation. It comes naturally without any sarcasm. She raises her eyebrows curiously, waiting for what he's going to say.
Kirslitrein.
May I invite you to watch a film tomorrow evening? I bought tickets. Oh. It is... I don't have any karma points, so I can't make the decision anyway, so she's going to decline the proposal. It's a sincere and precious invitation, and she could presumably enjoy a few hours of happy time tomorrow, but it occurs to her immediately that she has an appointment to report. Although people talk about work and life at the same time, for her the importance of work may be far greater than her life.
Feel.
I don't think I can. She fixates on his eyes while talking to him. The anticipation of the young scholar's face begins to fade like a withering flower. Shuhite smiles back, trying to pretend he isn't disappointed. He knew she would turn him down, but he just couldn't stop thinking about the what-ifs.
Kirkasa.
I see. You've got work to do? Well, the next week will be very busy.
Claudia Citro.
I might come by this place for a lunch meeting. You could join us.
Moira Line.
Ah, okay. Maybe I will.
Artiblotzi.
Thank you, though. I super appreciate it. He's like, damn it, a day date! This is the last thing I wanted. What a waste of time. He smiles half-heartedly and turns around. This is sad, she thinks while staring at the roses in her arms. They are still beautiful and fragrant, but they don't make her smile anymore. Mixed emotions gather at the surface like condensation on a glass, clinging tightly to her heart. This is nowhere near as enjoyable as she'd anticipated, but she thinks she made the right decision. Compared to the sacrifices on the front line, this is nothing. She shouldn't be having such selfish romantic thoughts when people she cares about are in dire circumstances. That's a load of bull. You can't stop living. You can't stop being happy and forget to live just because other people are in a bad situation or aren't as happy as you are. That's not a very good philosophy to have at all, really. You'll just make yourself perpetually miserable. Okay, so now we've got Letzeriel. Yeah, so it looks like Letzeriel visited the Morning Post to find the address of the Truth Seeker so that he can talk to her about his history, his mysterious past. I'm going to find out what happens with that now.
Solution.
Please, sir, I really want to meet him. I'm a big fan of Truth Seeker. I won't create any unnecessary troubles, and I will leave at once if there is any displeasure on Truth Seeker's part. The officer seems rather... The officer? The office, yeah. Okay. The officer seems rather taken aback by Letzeriel's passion. He stares at the young man in front of him for a moment, wondering what to do with him. To further his efforts, Letzeriel gives the officer the most charming smile he can muster. 10 minutes later, Letzeriel walks out of the post office with the address in his pocket. It will take him to the southeastern part of Thalizak, far from the wealthier neighborhoods. River Stalanis flows between that area and the street where Rosemary is. They spelt Stalinese different to how they spelt it there. There's a CH hidden. Anyway. His steps feel a little lighter as he walks by the river. This is a community full of old-fashioned small houses and winding roads. There was a sketch of a map on the paper from the officer, but it was terrible and unreliable. Although Letzeriel follows the signs and occasionally asks the people around him, it still takes him half an hour to reach his destination. Eventually he is standing in front of a small and plain apartment with a notice on the door board that reads "No water tomorrow." It's quite different from what he'd imagined. He reassures himself by double-checking the address on the paper. Truth Seeker should be living in one of those rooms, lest the person back in the newspaper office gave him the wrong address. Letzeriel enters the long hallway, and on his way a girl steps out of an apartment and walks briskly towards him, not sparing him a glance. She seems too deep in thought to acknowledge anything around her while she puts a notebook into her bag. He glances at her from the corner of his eyes. The woman doesn't live here, that's for sure. Her clothes are not very expensive, but she is well dressed. Reading people is a basic skill he picks up while working in a pub. Waiters always make judgment calls on who's likely to give the most tips, so they can serve them before anyone else. When Letzeriel glances at her a second time as she brushes past him, a notebook with a well-known symbol catches his attention. Verethesis order. The woman hurries down the stairs and Letzeriel shrugs it off before going up to the room. This must be it. Room 604. The girl came out of The girl came out of this apartment. The same number that's on the note in hand. So, a visitor for Truth Seeker, perhaps because of their reports. Letzeriel sucks in a breath before knocking on the door. Several seconds pass before someone opens the door. A small girl stands there looking a bit puzzled.
Huh?
What now? Wait, who are you? Truth Seeker's daughter?
Oh, yo.
Oh, yo! Good day, it's nice to meet you, miss. I was wondering if Truth Seeker is around right now. Truth Seeker? You're looking at Truth Seeker right now. The girl looks up at him and narrows her eyes. A subtle, probing gleam hides behind her stare.
Oh, yo.
Wait, what? He is completely stunned, unable to believe that this girl, who seems to be in her early 20s, is in fact the Truth Seeker. The girl seems troubled and lets out a sigh. She leans against the door frame and stares at him in frustration. There were all kinds of problems when using an alias. That's right, I'm the Truth Seeker, and that's the truth. I know you have a lot of other delusional ideas that I'm probably the daughter, maiden, or even mistress.
Oh, yo.
Truly, I did not. I beg to differ. Letzeriel brushes the girl's words off with a shrug of his shoulders. The girl is the epitome of a living fox, circling its prey, trying to find the best time to lunge for a bite. It might not seem dangerous, but sometimes hidden beneath the poise of a fox lies the aggression of a rabid beast.
Miller?
Anyway, welcome. My name is Verena Wyatt. She takes a step back and invites Letzeriel into the room. Letzeriel, you seem to have a lot of visitors today, no? I hope I'm not bothering you too much.
Oh?
Oh, so you ran into her. Verena's body tenses. She still leans against the wooden doorframe. Her mouth opens and closes, her red lips hinting at a fresh attack, and the tip of her tongue flashes between her white teeth like a snake's. Contrary to her casual expression, she is angry under the surface. That woman is nothing but a liar. She barged into my life and claimed my articles as nonsense, with no conclusive evidence to prove her claim. And when she couldn't disprove the valuable information I spent so much time researching, she threatened me.
Sorry.
She must be a stooge sent by the church. There is no other possibility. It was almost endearing to watch her vomit one pile of garbage after the other in a desperate effort to clean the reputation of her church. And to think that while she was doing that, she was also trying to bond with me. What could have been but a vessel? What could she have been but a vessel? I can't get away with it. We reporters cannot yield to her. There's an irreconcilable contrast about her in Letzeriel's mind. There is hypocrisy in her hyperbolic attitude, and the blanket of wickedness and cynicism shrouding her is beyond his imagination. The diabolical words coming from the mouth of this fox-like little girl were shocking. This Verena is not what she seems. On one hand, her spirited small stature and that mischievous curl of the lips leaves little room for visceral dislike, but on the other hand, she's clearly a self-absorbed and sinister individual. She may have great investigation skills, but she is also an arrogant and foolish little girl. Caution with this person is to be advised. Okay then. Nice to know a pretty girl who is horrible on the inside. I ought to be careful. What, you said that out loud?
Oh.
Huh. Anyway, I didn't come here just to talk about your previous visitor. I have my own reasons for being here, Miss Wyatt.
Oh?
Oh, I had no idea. She feigns a surprised face. Letzeriel raises his brow in the way he's become so used to doing.
My Estela.
I happen to have the pleasure of reading one of your articles, the headline news of the Talizak Morning Post today. Your ability to investigate and analyze is truly impressive. I guess not everyone's as blind as she is.
Z.
I'm particularly interested in tracing an old case from April 1529. April 1529, huh? Sounds fun. What does that have to do with me? Verena looks at him with a faint smile on her face, pulling a strand of hair that had been wrapped around her fingers behind her eyes. Finally, she straightens her body. It seems that Zariel has finally pulled the right lever, as the reporter no longer appears to be in a facetious mood. She's got the natural talent of a word manipulator and the researching skills to back it up. There's not a shred of doubt in Letzeriel's mind that she can help him out. Not that he fully trusts her, but he can still make a deal with her. The problem is how to pique Verena's interest. He needs her to swallow the bait. There must be something behind this. I searched the St. Godhrkar's library, but all the relevant newspapers were removed or never entered. If the reason why could be revealed, it would be a nationwide scoop.
Oh?
Okay, I admit I'm intrigued, but why should I bother with such an old story? With all the current turmoil, there are new cases every day, and I don't really need to spend my time looking for information regarding such an ancient case. Verena lowers her head, looking at her nails as if they were the most fascinating thing she'd seen. If that wasn't enough, then what else? What more could she need? Suddenly the lady he had passed in the hall flashes through his mind. The Verethesis Order.
Via Cleity.
I came here with full honesty, Miss Wyatt. You will have the information you need in exchange. I'm very generous and frank, unlike stooges from the Verethesis Order. Verena's eyes lit up. You mean that woman? No, the Order is involved within the priest's murder case. It will be the headline tomorrow, but how do I know if you...
Clear.
It's your turn to verify, isn't it? He smiles warmly at the reporter.
My Estela.
Basically, if you tell me where to look, I'll do the dirty work. Then we'll share whatever I find. Please, it has great personal value. April 1529, right? What kind of incident? I don't know yet, but... It was at least an event that would have made all newspapers published at that time disappear. He pulls his gaze away from Verena to the small and elongated window at the wall. The pane and lattice is covered with cobwebs. The red glow of sunset illuminates the dusty windowsill. She sizes him up suspiciously but opts not to speak. Verena notices something change in Letzeriel's icy blue eyes as she looks through the flighty and hypocritical smile. In those eyes floated sparkling glaciers. She was certain they had the same ideals. Why else would she feel so free to speak to a stranger? But he changes when he mentions the incident. The ice peak in his eyes has sunken, causing a murky cold water of the sea to rise, revealing the endless darkness beneath. Verena is a headhunter of news, and just as a fly doesn't miss a drop of blood, she doesn't miss the tiniest hint of subtle emotion. She sees past his crazy obsession. That's what I like to hear, Mr. Letzeriel.
Sendomia.
Let's is fine.
Sorry.
Alright, Let's, here's the deal. I'll help you with your research to find out exactly what happened in April 1532. In exchange, you will gather and share every piece of info you get. They examine one another, longer than before. This time is more like beasts sizing each other up before a fight. Verena tilts her chin up a little, showing her confidence, while Letzeriel's chin is angled downwards to make him appear less threatening. Is that a deal? Verena holds her small rough hand out so Letzeriel thrusts his own out and shakes. It's as good as sealing a contract with a paper and pen.
Z.
Deal.
Z.
Good. He nods politely, knowing it's time to say goodbye. His face is as stern as ever while he heads back down the hall. Verena stares at his back, then closes the door as he disappears down the spiral staircase. Upon hearing the door close, Letzeriel smiles, his sadness and solemnity melting like snow under the sun, leaving his typical flirtatious levity hanging in his face. He kicks away an empty can and spits on the corner of the dusty building.
Philome's eye.
Great personal value, my ass. Okay. Now you've got this, which is Chevrolet Fuchsia. This one we've already seen, but obviously there's something different about it. There's something that we don't know about it. I'm just thinking if we have time to fit it in. I'm not sure how long this chapter will go on for, basically. And we're already at about 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. It might be longer than 20 minutes, in which case we'll run over it for the episode. So I'm going to end the episode here, guys, and we'll start this one in the next episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching the stream, guys. I do hugely appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed playing. We're getting bit by bit, little by little, we're uncovering the truth, and I'm pretty excited to find out what the truth is. I hope you guys are too. Hopefully I will see you all in the next episode. I produce content every single day, so peace out till next time.